Doctors and nurses have read it. Have you ever witnessed a couple have a child that was obviously not the father's? What happened? My brother's best friend didn't resemble his father while growing up, so he became more and more suspicious. The father eventually did a DNA test when my brother's friend was 11 or 12 and found out it's not his. The parents split up with the older daughter, 16, going with the father because she resembled him, so he was sure about her. Poor situation for everyone. The kid lost his father in that situation. He knew nothing different, and it wasn't his fault. Talk about an attachment disorder starting point. In my head the father still saw the kid as his son, but not his wife as his partner anymore. I can't imagine detaching myself like that after 12 years of caring for a child. Whenever I hear stories about this, my admiration for my father just grows a little bit more. We now know that my brother, half brother now I guess, is definitely not my dad's. Dad let me know now, like 10 years after separating from mom. He explicitly told my sister and I that we should under no circumstances mention it to my brother because he would be heartbroken. Dad still goes above and beyond to make sure my brother is happy. It's just incredible to watch. I had a doctor that thought my boy wasn't mine because he came out blonde with blue eyes. I'm half native with dark hair, dark green eyes, and my dad is a blonde blue, green-eyed dude. My wife is a very dark brunette and her dad is a blonde, blue, green-eyed dude. It got grandfathered in. He is tested genetically as mine, but the doctor was very iffy. My male cousin is white, with blonde hair and green eyes. He married a very beautiful dark-skinned black woman. She is very dark-skinned. They have 4 children, 3 are dark-skinned black, and 1 is blonde with blue eyes. No joke, the white boy is the spitting image of my cousin, while the other 3 look just like their beautiful mother. When their mother brings the kids out alone, people always assume she is babysitting this white kid. Genetics on my dad's side of the family are weird like that too. My dad has black hair, brown eyes. My mom is a green-eyed blonde. My sister was adopted from Asia, but looks more like dad than I do, since he has a tan and my melanin can't get it together. It's to the point where people who know my parents adopted a kid think that I'm the adopted kid, which we all find funnier than some of the other comments we get on the regular. I'm the spitting image of my paternal grandmother, however. I even had her buck teeth. My dad's brother looks the same as dad, but his son, my cousin, has red hair and blue eyes, just like his mom. This might raise a few eyebrows, but just like me, it got grandfathered in. Apparently dad's own grandfather had red hair and blue eyes. When I was a student nurse, there was this one couple. Mother was Asian and husband was white. The husband had a brother, African American. He's adopted from what I remember. The mother had been in labor for around 12 hours and they were very excited to see their baby. I remember the father had been pacing my entire shift back and forth in the waiting room. When it came time to mount the mother on the table, he asked the doctor if he could be in the room. He was grinning like a madman. It was a very positive energy. You could almost get completely absorbed by it. The doctor was a nice guy. He let us get him some throwaway scrubs and let him stay in the room. All in all, the actual birthing process was pretty standard. However, when the baby came out, then came the rough part. He was a normal, healthy, half African American boy, around 3 kilograms. I just looked at the baby, then looked at the father, and watched his face go from joy to puzzlement to horror in around 10 seconds. The mother called out for her child and the doctor, being all business, cut and suctioned the baby. I'm pretty sure at that moment the father broke, because he sort of just stepped back and kept saying what the fuck under his breath. I didn't get to see much of them for the next 2 hours, but I was there when the mother was brought to her room. Her husband and his brother were there as well, and she was talking to them. From what I saw, she was trying to console her husband and his brother was trying to hug him. The husband kind of just kept shrugging off his brother's arms and crying into his hands. It was a really tough thing to see, but all in all it wasn't really as dramatic as you'd expect. Fuck, that breaks my heart. This happened to me actually. No one said anything to me about their suspicions. 2 years later it comes out that my daughter wasn't biologically mine. By that time I only saw her as my daughter and nothing else. After months of depression and confusion, I worked it out where I left the mom and I adopted the little girl. She's raised as my daughter and I don't see her any other way. A bigger man than most. Bravo sir. Point good of you. And good on you, man. A hospital where I was a med student had a baby born with hydrops, which is where a baby gets two bad copies of a red blood cell gene, one from each parent. Baby died shortly after birth. Parents came in for genetic counseling and testing revealed the woman's husband did not carry the alpha thalassemia gene. The couple asked what was the chance another baby of theirs would have this condition. The doctors were honest and told them 0%. They left it at that. Did the dad understand the implications of that? Edit. I meant husband. See. Give her a break, it's easy to mix the two up. The dad wasn't present, apparently. I'm pretty sure he did, since they asked about the odds, but when your wife has just lost a baby, even if you just found out it's not yours, I give him credit for not making a scene right there. I'm a midwife. I once had a woman come to my clinic unannounced. She wasn't my patient, but I'm NHS so saw her anyway. She had a man with her. She knew she was about 3 months pregnant, but hadn't come for any antenatal care. I asked if she'd had sex the night before. She'd come in, because she'd had a little bleeding. I looked at the partner as mum said yes, and he said nothing to do with me. I'm just the baby daddy. Turns out she had a new boyfriend at home. This was just the guy she'd been with 3 months before. I popped her up on the table to examine her and straight away had to tell her that she was actually about 5 months along, but I would arrange a scan to confirm. The dude just got up and walked out. Turns out there was a third guy 5 months ago. I had a patient like this. She was like 28 weeks or something, pretended her last period was 2 months prior to my visit with her, and that this boyfriend of 3 months was the only potential father. When I explained that he was not, she asked when was the latest she could get an abortion. Answer: quite a while ago in our area. Jesus. A nurse friend of mine told me about helping with a vasectomy when the doctor saw that the patient, a married father of 2 children, was clearly infertile and would have been all his life. Due to the man taking Valium before the local anesthetic, the doctor made the guy come back for a follow-up where he had to explain the man's medical condition to him. No idea what the fallout was. A friend of mine is going through hell right now for the same reason. Went for a vasectomy, discovered he has been infertile his whole life. Did a paternity test on his 3 kids and none of them are his biological kids. You better be the best fucking friend to him through all this. I'm trying to. My father hook him up with a great family attorney almost for free. I hook him up with a therapist friend that deal with a lot of divorce men. He's staying at my place on the weekends. I wish I could do more for him. This guy did not deserve any of this. That's a really cruel thing for a woman to do to a man. It's a lie that cuts deeper than anything really. Using him as a safety net to raise kids that you've led him to believe are his.
Thanks for watching and please subscribe for more upcoming videos. Have an amazing day.